Hello and welcome to Take Flight Live with Phoenix Stage Company, an award-winning 100% volunteer community theater organization located in Oakville, Connecticut. I'm Ed Bassett, Executive Director of Phoenix Stage Company, and your host here with Tim Phillips. Say hello, Tim. Also in the room, our technical producer, Michael Calabrese.
Hello.
And Al is somewhere about.
Hi, everybody.
He's our, lighting genius guy that makes us look good.
And for the first time in our podcast history, we have a studio audience.
We do.
Wow,
they're really, we do. We have a studio audience of two.
Two.
Nancy Dodge is joining us today, and Lori Phillips, our
Yes.
volunteer.
We are keeping within state and CDC guidelines.
We are, speaking of which.
we got to do this.
Here you go.
Oh, this is important.
6 feet.
Do you know that we are actually, we are actually 1.8288 meters apart from each other?
I didn't know that, Tim.
That's for our Canadian listeners.
You're very smart.
Do we have any?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We have someone from Minnesota with us today, though.
That's a new thing too. We have.
Yeah. Last week we hosted our second edition of Voices for Phoenix, which was really great.
Yes, it was.
Big thank you to all of those performers.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah. I would have a little bit of difficulty doing that, I think.
They picked some tough,
very dramatic
monologues to do, and they pulled them off extremely well.
It's true. Shakespeare kind of scares me a little bit.
Oh, it scares me too.
A tiny bit.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You're drinking and I'm not.
I got my Black Hawk.
Where's my coffee?
Coming.
Oh, our special little handy duty.
Oh, when
socially distant.
Wait, you're going past me, Al. Okay. There we go. Thank you, Al.
I decided to get my own this way.
That's awesome. I have my popcorn. You miss Phoenix, don't you? Popcorn.
When you start up the popcorn machine in this building, which we have not had a show in here since Drinking Habits.
Right.
Just the smell of the popcorn going brings you back, gives you that nostalgic feeling, and you feel like we're back again.
It does, and Lori in our studio audience, she's happy when we make popcorn because we're not here a lot, so some of it has to get disposed of after we make it, so it goes home with Lori and she feeds it to the birds.
The birds and the squirrels and the raccoons and anything else that decides to pop into our backyard sanctuary.
Yeah, they love that. Tim, what are we doing today?
Tonight we are discussing. Get a piece of popcorn in there. We're discussing character development. Let me take a sip. Our guest is Laura Sturges-Cortez, a longtime a veteran of Phoenix Stage Company. She's been on here several productions.
True.
And we're going to talk about the craft of character development. And when we get Laura on, we're going to talk to her about it. And we also have a new segment, as we mentioned. Our friend Lydia Cleft will be here joining us for our new weekly segment, Ask Lydia. And of course, with Laura Sturges-Cortez, we'll be playing our weekly game, Jargon Gymnastics.
Stretch your mind and stretch your tongue. It's true. Yes. Yeah, and Laura will be playing to win a prize for herself and Nancy Dodge in our audience.
Yes, and she's very much looking forward to
It'll be awesome.
Yes.
So character development, Tim.
Yes, it's an important part of putting on a show.
It is, and I always learn something when I research for the podcast. We pick subjects and we kind of do some research on them, and I always come out a little bit smarter on the other end. The references that we used or that I used to put some of this information together, I did a search and I found 2 really great articles online. So the links to those articles are underneath your screen on YouTube there. Those were found on backstage.com and theguardian.com, which are both good theater references. I have a subscription to backstage.com and I highly recommend it. It's a great resource. So 3 Ways to Build a Character by Lawrence Cook appeared on Backstage Magazine, and Character Building and What Makes a Truly Great Actor by Dee Cannon with the Royal Academy of Dramatic Acting.
Because the whole theory is there's a lot more to a play than just learning the words. It's learning who your character is, how you should be interacting with the other characters.
Right.
It's all comes down to the story and what's given to you really by the playwright.
It's true. But there's also so much more you have to have.
Yes.
And I learned that through these articles and through other research that I was doing. I'm not a trained actor. I'm a community theater actor and I really enjoy it. And I have fun doing it. But to read these articles and what some of these professionals do to get ready for roles, it's pretty awesome. You know, there are the 10 questions
Right.
that they want you to ask. Who am I? Where am I? Where is it? Where have I just come from? What do I want? Why do I want it? What will happen if I don't get it?
Ooh, that's a big one.
How will I get what I want? Doing what? How am I going to do that? And what must I overcome? And I was never really aware of all of those questions. I always knew the who, the why, the where, the what.
As I mentioned before, that's very much, I used to be a reporter and I used to do the news on radio. And, you know, every story that you ever write for a newspaper or for a radio broadcast, everything, you have to ask yourself those 5 questions, the who, what, and so on. And that's the basic starting point for developing a story and developing a character.
Right. And so doing this research and reading down on these articles, I always did, for example, when we did Fireflies here,
yes,
Agnes had us all sit down and talk about our characters and talk about where we were coming from and what brought us to here. And all of these articles actually talk about actors going much farther back than that. What was my childhood like? What kind of a teenager was I? What were my parents like? What was my home? What was my home life like? Did I have a favorite room in the house? Does that affect my behavior now as an adult? All just building all of those things. And it was really amazing to read this and to do the research that I did online to find that. It was pretty amazing.
And a lot of that is are choices that you make as an actor working on that character that you're going to portray, because you're given only so much by the script.
Exactly. So like here, we would start with a character discussion.
Right.
For example, like I said, Fireflies. We all sat down and we talked about our characters and how they related to other people. And the director, in this case, Agnes Dan, walked us through that conversation and that discussion. And she would ask questions that made us talk deeper into our character and go farther back, or how my experience affects the way that I'm going to be interacting with the other actor on stage. And then they also talked a lot about observation, about watching people in real life and figuring out who your character is. For example, if you're playing someone that's a waitress, you know, go and sit in a restaurant or several of them and watch the waitresses, and what is my character going to walk like, and what is my character going to behave like, and all of those things. And I think as a community theater actor, and I kind of always just took that as, I took it for granted. And I think by doing this research, I'm going to get a lot more out of this. I think I might be kind of a pain to the directors, but I think because I really enjoyed doing this, I took some of my old characters that I had played and I went back into these articles and kind of rethought them a little bit. And I think this is really great. I do have printouts of the articles. And so if anyone that's watching would like a copy emailed to them, you can just send a message on the side there on the little chat screen, and Michael will let me know, and we'll email you copies of these articles. They're really useful, really useful.
Of course, the whole thing about character development is to make your character as real as you can.
Three-dimensional.
Right.
Three-dimensional.
If you don't do that, then the characters tend to be flat and uninteresting.
True. But you also have to be willing to evolve.
Yes.
Because the idea that I have of my character on stage, that idea and that development is going to change based on my interaction with the other actors on stage.
Let me ask you about specifically with Firefly. When you first read that script,
right?
Did your idea of what that character was going to be end up being exactly how you played him on stage, or did it change dramatically?
Totally different.
Based on
two things. Yeah. Based on my interaction with Eleanor, played by
Helen Adams.
And based on the dialogue between Helen Adams, and Jane's character.
Okay.
Because you can read it, right? You're reading your script.
Yes.
But when you hear it being read, and it's read the way it was and performed the way it was by those two really strong actors, you get a lot out of that. And so I was able to kind of read between the lines in that dialogue, because that character in Fireflies for me had to be on the line. No one was supposed to, in the end, know whether I was a good guy or a bad guy.
They still
Everyone,
don't.
and I still kind of don't know.
Yeah,
It could go either way, right? So really he had to live up to the expectations that Eleanor had for him and the expectations that Jane's character had for him. Judith, I think her name was Judith. Sorry if I got that wrong. You have to listen to, you have to listen and pay attention to the development of the other actors and those conversations, because it affected, but no, my character, I thought totally differently of him.
Yeah.
Once we got into the process of discussion, rehearsal, listening, and Agnes would ask us the right questions. We would be in a rehearsal and she would stop it and ask me why I did that. Why did you sit down there? What was your motivation to do that? And how do you think that's going to change? And can we do it without you sitting down and see how it feels? So that was great, because she allowed us to be able to experiment and then evolve as characters in that development.
And that's all part of the development process.
It is.
And listening is not actually listed on this your 10 questions, but listening to the dialogue, what other people are saying, what's being observant of what's going on in your surroundings throughout the scene. That's all important. It's all the stuff that adds up to who you are as a character. It's
really important. And our guest today, Laura Sturges-Cortez, is very good at that.
She's amazing.
She's very good at listening and responding to people that are on stage with her. And that develops trust. When you're on stage with somebody that you can trust wholeheartedly, then you're fearless to go into with them.
And it is a process too. It's not, you don't have your character, you don't do all your background thinking beforehand. It really is an ongoing process. You come into the rehearsal process with an idea how you're going to play a character, but as you just said, that may evolve throughout the entire rehearsal process.
I admire so many people that we work with here at Phoenix Stage Company. Tori Rishnovsky is one. She is always so well prepared for a character in a play. She really reads it, thinks it, develops it. Like,
you could actually say, and I've worked with Tori many times, and you can see her working on a character. You can see how she's thinking about how to play a scene, stuff like that. It's a fun process, and every actor should be doing it. No matter how big or small the role, you should be having a thought as to what's important to that character every time you come on stage.
And the whys. The whys. Why you I always like it when I'm watching someone on stage and you can see their character thinking. You can see the wheels turning behind their eyes, and you know that character is really thinking and really into that moment. Chris Evans in Cliffhanger was amazing at that, and then most recently in Dead Ringer.
Dead Ringer as well.
We did Dead Ringer, and it was a fabulous production. Fabulous production. And he was on stage alone for a large portion of it, talking to Tori, who was Mary, played by Tori Rishnovsky, in the root cellar. So Mary in a box. And he was on stage alone, and you had to see everything that was going on behind his eyes, and you could. He was excellent at developing that, and his character was fully realized. It was three-dimensional and amazing.
It's a fun process to go through. It takes a lot of work. You have to really be dedicated to it. But there's something wonderful about really discovering who your character is and how it relates to the entire process.
And as I said, doing the research for this, I will definitely be looking differently at my approach to developing a character. And these articles are pretty awesome. And there are so many out there. These are just two that I found that I really found helpful, that I think that you will as well. So again, if you'd like me to email you a copy of these, just leave a message there on the chat bar and Michael will let me know, or you can use the links that are at the bottom of the page and you can visit those as well.
It's good stuff.
And while you're down there and you're visiting those links, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
I see what you did there.
On this topic, Casey Rachuba is on with us, and she said that this was something that she got to do a lot of with Cayuga, and she enjoyed it. Deb Goodman said that this is one of her favorite parts about acting, and it's the reason she doesn't get nervous when she has to improvise.
Okay.
There you go.
Because
Yeah.
if you're comfortable with your character, then you know if something goes wrong, you can figure a way around it, keeping in character, which is something you've always said when you've directed shows. If you have to break, if something goes wrong, stay in character.
Stay in character.
Stay that person you're supposed
Stay
to
in
be.
character till the lights go out.
Or until
Till the lights go
you're
out.
off the stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true, Cayuga, especially with the cast of Cayuga Canal Girls, this is a new work, and they're all learning about their characters.
Right.
And they've had several sit downs with.
Well, we had a workshop with the playwright for
Yep.
3 days, and there was a lot of discussion and development about those characters, their relationships with each other,
Right.
and their relationships with the story.
Yes.
What was that character's relationship with what's happening right now on the stage?
And it's especially difficult because that's a work of fiction.
Right.
So these characters were only in the playwright's mind until this point.
I wonder what people's opinions are out there, the people that are watching, and do you think it's more difficult to develop a fictional character or more difficult to develop a character based on a real person from history?
It's that's a kind of tough question because you can easily be tripped up by non-fictional characters. You can get lost, I think, in the mimicry and getting behind what's all that stuff. Some have pulled off brilliantly. Some actors in the movies have pulled off. Daniel Day-Lewis as Lincoln.
As Lincoln. Oh my goodness.
Blew me
One of my
away.
favorites. Yes,
Yeah.
Michael.
Tori says she would never want to play a real person that people know. She said she's a terrible mimic.
But a brilliant actress, brilliant performer.
Yes. I'd like to see her do Amelia Earhart, but that's just me.
Yeah, that'd be good. Think about that, Tori.
We could write that one for you. We could write
Get in an airplane with you. Yeah.
but this.
So listen, why don't we bring our guest on and we can talk to her about this as well.
Yes.
Okay. So, wait, before I bring the guest on.
Oh no, we can't do that. Yes,
we can't
have to
do
our
that.
brand
We
new
have-
segment.
Oh my gosh, our brand
We're out
new
of practice.
segment. And that's why it threw me up because it's brand new.
Yes.
We have a new segment. It's going to become a regular every week. Lydia Cleft is with us all the way from Minnesota.
Oh,
and
this is
she's
great.
here to answer questions submitted by you, our viewers. This is called Ask Lydia. Hello, Lydia. Are you there?
Guys, hold on.
Oh, it's okay. We're social distanced.
Yeah, but I'm only about 2 feet away from you.
Oh, no. Okay,
Yeah,
honey,
oh,
that's
that's
okay.
us.
Yeah, there's a big screen separating us, so we're okay, Lydia.
Not to mention about
okay.
1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thank you for thinking of us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Absolutely. How have you been, Lydia?
I'm okay. I've got really excited about this because, well, I haven't put on makeup or earrings or anything in like 3 months.
Mm.
I feel like I'm going out on the town and I'm still in my dining room.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's-
Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, it's like
too.
dating again, isn't
It's
it?
nice to see you fellas.
It
Well, it's
is.
nice to see you too, Lydia.
Yes.
Lydia, what we have done is we know that you're very good at answering advice questions. People look for you for answers,
I'll
as
do
they
my
should.
best. Mhm.
Yes, you really tell it from the heart, and
I do.
people appreciate that. So we've put out the word out there to our listeners and our followers that you're coming onto our show, and they've submitted a couple questions, and we wonder if we could ask you those
Oh,
questions.
this is exciting. Sure.
All right, shall I give her the first question?
You give her the first question.
All right, this is from, they don't want to give their name, so sometimes they just give the initials. Okay.
Okay.
So this is from LP in Naugatuck.
LP. Okay.
LP says, I've been seeing someone special for some time now, but with this coronavirus, we both still have to wear masks. We're about to have our first non-virtual date, and I want to look my best. So, do I wear the lipstick on the outside on my mask or on my lips? And P.S., how do you get lipstick stains off a mask?
Okay. Well, that's a very good question, LP. And what I would like to say is, you're kind of right on track. And if you do both, if you put the lipstick on under the mask and then over the mask, when you are more than 6 feet away, you can just tease that little bad boy down and more lipstick. So you look good coming and going. And as far as getting the stain out, unless you're going to wear that thing inside out, don't worry about it.
Well, that's a brilliant.
That is a really,
brilliant.
that's some great advice. Why worry about
Yes,
it? Who's
that's-
going to wear it inside out? Of course, if there's lipstick on the inside, she might not know front from back.
Yeah, I think the question
So then
might
it
be.
won't matter either. She'll have a kiss on both sides.
Maybe
it's
she was
true.
asking for her potential boyfriend how to get lipstick off his mask.
Oh,
Well, then she's breaking a couple of rules there, so I take no responsibility.
Okay.
oh, okay. All right. I have another question for you, Lydia.
Okay,
This is from KC in Thomaston.
KC, okay.
My husband John and I enjoy playing cornhole with each other before this coronavirus with our friends. However, I'm not very good and I would like to improve my game. Practicing online doesn't seem to help. What advice can you offer to improve my cornhole technique?
Okay, I had to look that up because I thought it meant something else, but okay.
Oh.
So if you want to practice cornhole, you know you can't do it virtually, of course, because you're probably going to hurt your computer when you throw those bean bags at it. So what I find, you can put something, if you don't want to go outside, it's raining, you can just like use a laundry basket in your hallway. And you can just throw whatever you want in it. Because you just really want to try to get whatever you want to get in the hole, you know? That's all.
Wow.
Well,
That certainly
Okay.
answers that question.
Okay.
that really did. Thank you,
Keep
Lydia.
practicing, Casey.
I know that's going to be really helpful.
I think it will. I think Casey will really appreciate
Casey
it.
might be throwing some cats into those laundry baskets.
Yes, she's
Oh,
been
no. I must preface, no living creatures.
Oh, well, there you
okay.
go.
No.
That's
Okay,
kind
we'll
of
take care of
important
that. We'll
caveat
take
to
care of
throw
that.
in
Lydia,
there.
have you been watching our podcast?
I have, yeah. I actually watched it last week. You had all those dramatic monologues, you know, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
got really inspired. And
Did you?
and I went on that interweb thing there, and I looked something up, and I found one that kind of touched my heart.
Well, should we?
Oh, really?
I think we should.
Would you like to
do
perform
for
it?
us?
I'm not an actor, but
Oh,
sure,
well,
I'll try. I'll
Okay,
try.
you go ahead and
Okay,
try it. So
Yeah.
what is it? What is it called, Lydia?
Well, it's a dramatic piece, and it's about this woman that she's been told what to do her whole life. And this one event sparks her to say, no, sir, I'm going to do my own thing. So,
Okay.
so
All right.
there-
So,
Okay.
all right, Lydia Cleft,
Lydia Cleft,
take it
ladies and
away.
gentlemen.
okay, I got to open my other device. Okay. I did notice one thing about the dramatic readings, that everybody seemed to have to take a breath first. So here I go.
Okay.
It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. Nobody knows where my Johnny is gone. But Judy left the same time. Why was he holding her hand when he's supposed to be mine? It's my party. I'll cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. Playing my records, keep dancing all night, but leave me alone for a while till Johnny's dancing with me. I got no reason to smile. It's my party. I'll cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. Judy and Johnny just walked through the door like a queen with her king. Oh, what a birthday surprise. Judy's wearing his ring. It's my party. Cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. That's it.
Yeah, that really got to me.
Lydia, that was magical.
Thank you.
I felt the pain.
Right? I'm telling you, I was so inspired by those monologues last time. And not being an actor myself, I developed that character, as you might say.
Oh, there you go. That's
very
it.
good.
That's it.
Girl,
Way to tie it in there,
There you
Lydia.
go, Lydia.
Thank you. Thanks.
So,
Well,
Lydia,
I hope I was some help.
We want Lydia to hang
yeah,
on.
so we want you to hang out for a while because we have a guest coming on and she's going to have a question for you later too. Can you hold on for a while?
Well, sure. I'll just turn off all my wherewithal here, but you call me when you need me.
Thank you so much, Lydia.
We'll
Ask
talk to you soon.
Lydia, everyone. Lydia Clef.
Bye-bye.
It's her party and she'll cry if she wants
I think we may have to ask her to do one every week.
I think so too. She's going to have to do a dramatic reading every week.
That was
That was
wow.
I was unexpected.
I'm speechless.
And I just want everyone to know that this whole process with Lydia is 100% improv.
We have
We
no
don't
idea.
know what's going on. She doesn't know the question that she's getting. So
Oh, and
nothing
we
is
want to bring
practiced.
that up too. If you have a question that you would like to ask Lydia, you can send them to Phoenix Stage Company.
Info at phoenixstagecompany.org. It's right here. Info at phoenixstagecompany.org. You can send questions for Lydia. We'll be happy to forward those out.
Yes, because
Please
she's
make
so
sure
good.
that they're family-friendly questions.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll do that every week.
And now,
Yes.
it's the moment you've all been waiting for.
Well, I know she's been waiting for it.
Yeah, she's been waiting here. We're really happy to have Laura Sturges-Cortez with us tonight. She was last seen on stage here at Phoenix Stage Company in The Pink Panther Strikes Again.
Yeah.
Other stage credits include Sherwood, The Adventures of Robin Hood as Maid Marian, Four Weddings and an Elvis as Sandy, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as Candy, she was such a hoe, Fools, directed by Tim, she played Lenya, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Jean Poole, Moon Over Buffalo, she was Charlotte Hay in that, and she was in rehearsal when this all shut down. She was in rehearsal for Enchanted April. I did leave Three Musketeers off on that too.
Yes.
She played lots of characters in that.
That's true.
She was a very convincing nun in that. Laura, are you there?
I am here. Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
You look lovely this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm loving your shirts.
Oh, thanks. We both went tropical.
Yeah, we
today.
went a little tropical.
It's a tropical kind of weather,
nice.
so
It
that's how we decided
is.
to go with it. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you.
We missed having you down here.
I miss you too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a difficult couple months, but thanks to this new podcast and stuff, we get to visit with people.
We do. We have something to look forward every week.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So you're working from home, Laura?
Yes, I am. Thankfully, I was given a laptop so I can log in and do all my work from home.
Excellent. That's a lovely Phoenix behind you.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
found him and I realized I better put him out.
Oh,
For the-
like product placement kind of thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And how is Carlo? How's Carlos, your husband?
Oh, he's doing well. Yeah, he's fine.
Good.
He's
Yeah,
still
he's good.
doing his job though.
We miss his laugh here.
Mrs. Laugh, his seat misses him
Yes,
up
his
in the
seat
back
misses
there.
him up there. F-116.
We missed
So,
that.
Laura, we were, as you probably heard, we were talking about character development and all those roles that we just mentioned. You put a great deal of work into coming up with these very different characters. How do you approach something like that?
Thank you. It's different for each role.
Uh-huh.
I went to school at Pace University for just a year, but I learned so much there, and a lot of what I learned was was what you listed. A lot more too, but we focus a lot on that, just character development, and I find it's different for a comedy piece rather than a dramatic piece.
Yeah.
I don't ask myself the same questions that I do for a comedy piece, I feel like there's a like an innocence in the in less is more in that case.
Sure.
For a comedy.
In the comedy, the jokes are the more important thing. The getting the laughter out,
Yeah.
I think, is
Timing.
But yeah, in the dramatic case, and we forgot to mention female transport.
Yes, I just wrote down on the bottom of the card,
When you
female
start
transport.
trying-
I left it
yes.
off of there, and it was one of my favorite things you've ever done in the barrel there.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
yeah.
love that one.
So yeah, I agree with it. It seems to be a lot more character development when you're dealing with the dramatic roles as opposed to the comedy roles. There's some in comedy, obviously, but not nearly.
Comedy
as
is all about relationship with the people on stage with you.
yes, and in relation to
yeah.
the story.
Sure.
Yeah. You've done both here at Phoenix. Do you prefer? Do you have a preference between drama and comedy?
So what's funny is I used to think that I was only good for drama. Like I thought that's where my talent lied, was in doing drama. And that was because I was comparing myself to some very talented comedic actors from when I was younger, and some classmates of mine. So I thought that drama was really for me. And it wasn't really until until I did Moon Over Buffalo that I realized, hey, you know, maybe I'm funny. Maybe I can do a comedy. I don't know if I have a preference, but I think at this point I'm leaning towards comedies. I had so much fun with Fools.
Yeah.
So
that show was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of room for comedy there. And you and Rodney K just gelled so well together as husband and wife, and
so
you got to play off of each other. That makes a big difference, I think, in a comedy like that. Having that person that you can really rely on. You guys kept finding things in that show, and
what I loved
really
about that was that we didn't even have to like really talk to each other about it. And
Yeah.
I think it goes back to that trust that Ed you were saying, when you're working with someone and you trust them, and for some reason Roddy and I just kind of clicked in that regard, where
Sure.
we trust each other on stage, and I trust where he's going with his improv, and he trusts me where I'm going with mine, and we just follow each other. And I mean that was probably one of the best experiences I had in a comedy, as working with someone directly to do something so ridiculously slapstick. You know?
Sure. And I remember you guys would come up with something, and I'd say, "Great, remember that," because it's not in the script. Remember that, and that was the challenge each time. And then you would knock me away with something even funnier after that.
Well, you've always been a very adaptive performer. So, and in that show especially,
Mhm.
you worked a lot off of the audience's energy.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so you've always been able to just adapt your humor based on what you were getting from the audience, which is a huge skill. So yes, you can do comedy.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do comedy. And
Well, I believe it now.
Laura has a new project for all of our listeners out there. She and Chris Evans have a podcast. Tell us about it.
We do. So Chris Evans, if anybody knows him, knows that he loves watching Hallmark Christmas movies, and will post on Facebook about which movie he's watching and all the ridiculous lines and all the silly weird things that they do. And so I approached him and I asked him, like, you should do a podcast because I want to listen to you talk about these movies. And a few days later, he got back to me and said, do you want to do it with me? Yes, absolutely, I do. So we're doing a podcast where we watch a movie, a Hallmark Christmas movie, and we will tell you all about it, all of the crazy dumb things that they do in it, the weird plots, the weird supernatural elements filled in, whether or not Santa Claus appears in the movie. And we rate it on our own made up little scorecard. So for instance, is there a snowball fight? Do the main characters kiss in the snow? and there's a whole bunch more. But yeah, we definitely have a lot of fun with it. We're just
And what's it called?
the podcast is called the Hallmuck Channel.
And,
So
and you have your own
You-
website,
We
right?
have our website, the
Yeah,
Hallmuck
and that's
Channel.squarespace.com.
excellent. So listeners and viewers out there, go check this out. I can't wait to listen to it. There is a link on the bottom of the page underneath your screen with all the other links that we're giving you today, including the one where you subscribe to our channel. And yeah, right below there. And make sure that you check them out. I know I'm going to.
I can't wait to look
I'm
at
going to
that.
listen tonight. I'm excited about it. I'm very, very excited about it. I would imagine it's kind of improv-y. You guys don't
You don't script it.
write a
right?
lot?
No, we don't script it. We watch it separately. We make our own notes and we just talk about it. We will rag it, we will rip it to shreds, or we will praise its good points. It depends.
I'm excited about this. I'm excited about it.
I'm
And
sure
so,
Hallmark must love you. They sent you all sorts of stuff, yeah, like cease and desist or anything.
no, they're going to send you all kinds of swag. Yes, Mike.
One of our listeners has a question for you. Agnes wants to know if you ever got a role you didn't think you were right for and then discovered that you were.
Good question.
Oh,
Yes. I'm of course going completely blank.
but I could see where you come out for a show and then they cast you in a different character, and that would be
Yeah, that will always throw you. I can think of one now, and I'm sure I've got more that I'm just spacing on. Sandy for Four Weddings and an Elvis. At first I thought, oh yeah, and then as I was in rehearsals, I thought, oh no, I'm not. I can't get this. And I don't think it was until like Tech Week when I felt, oh, I've got it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Terrifying to be that close
sure.
to opening night and not feel,
I think a lot of performers have gone through that, but you were right for that role. You did get it. Sandy set the stage for that. She set the tone for that. It was her wedding chapel. You did a fabulous job on that. That was a great question, Agnes. That was a great question.
That leads to another question that I had. I want to ask you is dialects are one of your specialities. You do different types of English. You do Cockney. You do proper. We know from Fools you do Russian, and we know from the one you just did, Pink Panther, and in Four Weddings you even did Klingon.
Yes, you did Klingon.
Which
That was
is
one of my
not an
favorites.
easy thing to do. Is that just one of the things you love to challenge yourself with? Are these dialects? Does it just come naturally to you?
A little bit of both. I have I've been told I have a quick ear, which means that I can pick up an accent fairly easily. It comes from some part in your brain where you're empathetic, so you empathize with the person who's talking and you want to make them feel comfortable, so you pick up their accent very quickly. That's not to say that people who can't pick up accents aren't empathetic. It's just that it's a weird thing that your brain can do.
You're wired that way.
I love linguistics. It's like a weird hobby of mine that I study accents, and I'm really trying to work on doing a Welsh accent.
Ooh.
But it's very tricky, and it's kind of my white whale, it's my Moby Dick. I'm gonna have a hard time getting that one down, but it's something I love doing.
Are you looking at any plays with that deal with that kind of thing?
No.
Just trying to get the accent at this point.
It's actually, I want to be able to do it because I want to dress up as Gwen Cooper from Torchwood, which is a spin-off show of Doctor Who.
Yes.
And I've got the outfit and I've got everything to go to conventions.
You need the accent to go with it.
And I just need the accent.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that is a very, very unique accent. I will agree to that. Yeah, like me and my Scottish. I can do 4 words in Scottish. Another aspect, kind of loosely developing in with character development is stage combat. You seem to really like the stage.
Really, you're
combat.
really good at that.
And we saw a great deal of that in Sherwood. We saw. Did you do anything in Three Musketeers?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of stage. Even in Moon Over Buffalo, you got to wield a sword a couple times.
And Ren fairs.
And
Big.
Ren fairs. So, how did you get interested in stage combat?
Through association. My husband does some stage combat training, and he helps teach with Chris Pitlack, and with Artemis, they teach stage combat. So I kind of was going along and picking it up myself. But before I met Carlos, I learned a little bit when I was doing a summer internship program with a theater company. And they were teaching us just some random things. Sometimes it would be vocal exercises, and then sometimes it would be stage combat training. And I loved it because who doesn't like hitting things with a stick? And who doesn't like freaking other people out by like getting strangled or slapped or anything? I mean, I thought it was really cool. And it's this really technical, interesting thing to do that, I mean, it's really good on a resume too.
Yeah, it is, and it, like anything else, in order to pull it off, it has to be very, very well done. And we here at Phoenix have the people that allow us to do it in a way that makes it very well done, because there's no hiding it on a stage like this, right?
No, that's true. And our captain safety, Rob Rishnovsky, he comes in and does amazing work along with Chris Pitlack and Artemis, Michael Cassidy. You've been a fight captain for him. So in the early days, Chris Jacobson would come in and fight captain.
Sure.
So we're really lucky to have an amazing team of people that do that, yourself included.
It makes a difference. I remember during Jekyll and Hyde, you're getting strangled, and there were gasps every night coming out of the audience, and that's when you know you're doing it right.
Absolutely.
See you turn blue or anything like that, but no, hearing the audience reacting, yeah,
it's true. And speaking of linguistics and all of the great accents that she does,
I see what you did there.
Oh no!
Great segue. We're gonna play a game. We're going to play a game, and you can win a prize for yourself and one of our studio audience members, Nancy Dodge. This game is called what, Tim?
Jargon gymnastics.
It's true. Jargon gymnastics. Stretch your mind.
And stretch your tongue.
That's right. So we're going to give you some words in a foreign language. What is the language, Tim?
Well, 2 weeks ago, when we had another guest on, we did Yiddish.
Yes.
That was Khalid.
Yes.
This week, nice mug. We like the mug. You get Japanese.
Oh, wait. Now let me fix this. Okay, there we go.
We set the tone.
We set the tone.
So here's how the game works, Laura. We're going to ask you, we're going to give you 3 Japanese words. And Ed's much better at the Japanese, so I'm going to have him actually say the words. We will give, for each word, we will give you 3 possible definitions. And you have to choose which one is right. If you get 2 of those right, you win a prize for yourself and for Nancy Dodge, our studio audience member. Are you ready to play?
Yes, but no promises.
Okay.
Hear that, Nancy? No promises.
I'm sorry, Nancy.
All right, here's your first word.
Here is your first word. Irusu. Irusu.
It's spelled I-R-U-S-U. Now, is Irusu the name of a hard-on-his-luck lawyer who just can't win a case? Is it number 2, the Japanese equivalent of a strikeout in baseball? Or number 3, pretending not to be home by hiding behind your bonsai tree?
Number 2?
You think it's a baseball term?
Really?
Nobody's playing baseball anymore, right?
I was going to guess number 1, but...
Number 1, huh? About a lawyer?
Actually, no. It's number 3.
No.
Irusu is the act of pretending that you're not home when someone is at your door.
Avon
No, that one was real?
That
That's
is an
for real.
absolute, that is absolutely true. Irusu is the act of pretending that you're not home when someone is at the door.
But don't panic. You still have 2 more chances to
do.
win for you and
Okay.
Nancy. Okay, here's the second word.
The word is wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi.
Wabisabi. Is it number 1, incomplete beauty? Number 2, a poorly built fisherman's boat? Or number 3, a drunkard trying to walk home after too many sakis?
I'm gonna guess 1.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Wabi-sabi means incomplete beauty. And what that means is, for example, if there's a piece of pottery that is not quite symmetrical, they call that incomplete beauty, and they actually treasure it above perfection.
I like
See,
that.
sometimes it's better to be perfect than not to
Wabi-sabi.
be perfect.
Beautiful.
Okay, so this is exciting. You got 1 right, 1 wrong. So this is for the whole match.
This is for the whole match.
And our third word is
Kaki. Kaki.
K-A-K-I. Is it number 1? What Japanese tourists use to start their car while touring in Boston?
Kaki.
I knew I couldn't say that one.
The khaki.
I need more khaki. Is it number 2, the Japanese version of a persimmon? Or number 3, the wrong end of a Kobe steak cow? You only got one end, and the other end is where the
The persimmon.
Yes,
Yes,
ding
so
ding.
good.
See, it looks like this. Kaki. It's a
That's it.
persimmon. K-A-K-I. So
What is-
you have won a prize for yourself and Nancy Dodge. You have won a custom-made Take Flight with Phoenix Stage Company COVID-19 mask and one of our new Phoenix Stage Company Theater Strong bracelets. They look
Yay!
like this. So we're going to get these to you and to Nancy. Congratulations on your win.
That was amazing. And
That
way
was
to jog it through
amazing.
those our thinly veiled lies there.
Yes, we saw right through them all except for number 1, pretending not to be home.
Now, before we let you go, we want to bring back our good friend.
Oh, yes, we do. We want to bring Lydia back.
Lydia back.
Lydia,
Is Lydia back there?
there she
There
is.
she
Hi,
is.
Lydia.
Now, Laura, we told you before the show that Lydia was going to be here. So we said if we wanted to know if you had any questions of advice that you'd like to ask Lydia.
I do. I have an etiquette question.
Okay.
How long can I wait before I answer an email?
Oh, well, that all depends if you like the person or not. So I would say, if it's your pal, you want to get right back to him, especially in, these times where you have to keep in communication with everybody. But, if it's some like Russian bot, then heck with them. Don't answer it at all.
What if it's a really annoying coworker?
Oh, well, then I say you change your name and you move to a different state.
Done. Yeah.
Thank you, Lydia, very
Oh,
much.
you're welcome,
Lydia
everybody.
Cleft. Have a
And we'll
good
s- And
night.
we'll see Lydia next
Bye
week.
again.
That's right.
Thank you,
Bye,
Lydia.
Lydia.
So, Laura, just a couple of more questions for you before we let you go.
Sure.
Really quickly. So, any dream roles out there, bucket list roles, or maybe a role you'd want to do again, do it differently, or do it again the way you did it?
Ooh, that's good. I really would love to play Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing. I really want to do that role.
Darn. We were so close to having it.
Doing it a role I want to do again. I want to do Moon Over Buffalo again. I
agree
don't know
with
that I would play Charlotte any differently, but I just want to play Charlotte again.
George.
It's a great show. Now, there was a show within a show there
Yes.
Yes.
by Noel Coward, right?
Well, it was 2 shows
Right.
because
We-
it was Cyrano de Bergerac,
Yeah.
And
Cyrano, and then there was the Noel Coward play.
Right, the
And
Noel
he kept
Coward play.
mixing up the two.
We actually tried to get the rights to that Noel Coward play to be able to do it, and we couldn't get the rights because we thought it'd be fun to do it the following season.
that would have been so much fun.
And
Yeah.
we just we weren't able to get the rights for it. We
Yeah.
tried and tried and tried. Now I think it'd be really easy to get the rights to things. We just can't have any audiences yet, or actors on stage yet. But we'll get there. We will. We'll get there.
Laura, you mentioned Renaissance fairs. You like
Yeah,
you
I love
spend a lot of time with those. I also know you're a big sci-fi fan.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Favorite sci-fi show?
Dude, I asked someone that.
All right, well, let me put it this way. It's
Star Trek.
you let me put it this way for you. You can't fall asleep. You got insomnia, you don't have to go anywhere in the morning. What do you queue up on the TV? Just to enjoy it again.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Star Trek Voyager,
Okay.
but I did just rewatch The Mandalorian. So
Many times, but to see it over and over again, I really thought you would have mentioned Torchwood or Doctor Who. There's so many good. I know we've had many discussions down in the green room before, during, sometimes, and after shows. Various sci-fi shows out there that we just all enjoy so much. It's great.
yeah, I think I can give you my top 3.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Definitely Firefly.
Yep.
I mean, Doctor Who is complicated because there's so many doctors, right?
Well, we're assuming you're not talking about the whole 50 years.
So then David Tennant's Doctor Who.
All right, we'll go with that. That's a good choice.
Even though 9 was like my heart and soul, like my favorite, but 10's got some really good stories and story
Yeah.
arc. And Star Trek Voyager.
Okay.
Gotta love a captain who's a woman.
You know, that's really interesting because Star Trek Voyager is my least favorite of the Star Trek. Well, no, Deep Space Nine is my least favorite.
See, I love these.
I like Next Generation. I just like Next Generation.
Next Gen's great. I'm actually currently rewatching.
Have you seen Picard?
Yes. Of course I
Sorry. I didn't mean to make it sound insulting. Like I was going to take away your Trekkie card or something. I've seen what your bumper stickers are. I know what you like. But there's a lot of good stuff out there.
There is. Laura, thank you so much for joining us tonight, for taking the time to sit down with us and talk to our watchers and our listeners. And we miss you, and I can't wait to see you back on the stage again.
I miss you too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very, very welcome.
Great.
Thank you for being here, Laura Sturges-Cortez. Bye.
And the audience goes crazy.
Oh, man, she's one of my favorite people in the whole wide world.
This is about the only time I really start missing the people we have, is when we have to can only see them on the screen instead of having them. We're so used to our tight-knit family here.
We were talking before all of this, and for me, that now it's just now this is starting to get to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I find myself, I'm not really sleeping that well, and I find there are days when I'm just really down, and I'm just like lounging in the chair with a cat in my lap and a fan, and I'm turning into the old cat lady,
When
I just so now it's starting to get to me now, and I was fine in the beginning, and I think we'll work through it. But
how long ago was our last show, Drinking Habits 2?
Drinking Habits 2 was in February. Our last rehearsal, I think, was the week of March 19th. Was our last rehearsal in the building.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
And we were rehearsing 2 shows at the same time.
Right. And we've been coming to the theater sporadically and getting things done. So you do get out and stuff, but we've always been such a social organization and such a large family of people.
That's true.
It's difficult, and we'll all get through it together. But I think this just goes to show that this kind of thing hits people at different times.
Yep.
And Lori Poulin was saying that it was difficult for her in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's starting to wear on me now. I'm having a more difficult time. I call Nancy Dodge every day. And I call other
talk
people
to
every
Lori
day.
every day. too.
You talk to, well, she's your wife. I hope you talk to her every day.
Well, most days.
I bother Michael far too much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
See, now I save up my bothering of Michael for when he comes in on Thursdays. To help
I
us
don't
in the
wait.
show. Oh,
I don't
so-
wait.
Well, you know what? We forgot to mention the big thing.
Yes.
For all those who've been following our podcast, live podcast so far, Al got a haircut.
He did. He got a haircut. Al got a haircut. He doesn't look like a dandelion anymore. He looks like Al. It's good to see you underneath all of that,
They
Al.
probably would think it was a lost Bichon Frichet on the floor of the barber shop. He had so much to give up there.
Yeah.
They used a weed whacker.
They
That's
used a
insane.
weed whacker, just better than a lawnmower.
That's
Tim,
true.
who do we have next week?
Next week, we have our dear friend Brian Elser coming to the show. And Brian was one of our success stories because he started with us way back in Naugatuck a long time
A
ago.
long time ago. We'll tell you about that next week. We don't want to waste any stories.
But
Yeah.
the theme of our show next week will be making that jump. What is it that gets a person from those seats out there to being on stage right here?
Right.
That's a tough jump to make for a lot of
It
people.
is a tough jump to make, but a lot of people do it. And we'll talk to Brian, and I'm sure that Al will be able to give us a story or two in there.
Yeah, and we'll
And,
have, of course, we'll have Ask Lydia back again.
Lydia will
Send
be
your
back.
questions
If
in.
you're interested in coming and sitting in the studio audience, we're allowed to have 10 people in the building, so we could have had 4 more tonight. Just send a message, info@phoenixstagecompany.org or ed@phoenixstagecompany.org. Let us know,
What
and
your dates
we'll
are.
we'll
Yep.
save you a seat out there.
Yep.
Everybody can social distance quite a lot.
Yeah, we got them separated pretty good out
Yeah,
there.
they're really distanced out
Yeah.
there. So we'd love to have you. And afterwards, we don't force everybody to leave. We kind of hang out, social distance, and have some coffee or a donut or something, or some Phoenix Stage Company popcorn. So Amber, if you're listening, come on down with your mom,
That's
and
true.
you can sit in the studio audience.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was great having a studio on. They were so responsive.
yeah. They were, for the most part.
I felt the love
I
all
think
the way.
initially Nancy might have been a little bit confused by the dramatic reading.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's true. I teared up with that.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah, I saw that over there. It was a good thing that the camera wasn't on yet.
Camera off was for
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, it was good. So listen, we need to thank our sponsors for Take Flight with Phoenix Stage Company, Take Flight Live, Black Hog Brewing Company. Where are they located?
Oxford, Connecticut.
Oxford, Connecticut, out by the airport. They're going to be opening soon, right? They're going to be
Last I
opening
heard,
again.
perhaps in the beginning of July.
Beginning of July, they might be opening up their tasting room there.
Yep.
Right now, you can still go online. You can order
Get
some beer from them, and you can pick it up curbside, or you can just drive up and pick up curbside. Also, Sierra Ridge Media Arts
In Naugatuck.
in Naugatuck. Deb Cryan, thank you so much, Deb,
Thank
for
you,
everything
Deb.
you do for Phoenix Stage Company. We really, really appreciate it.
And we appreciate all you people for watching and signing up and subscribing to our channel.
Subscribe to our channel. It's the little link underneath your screen. And also you can donate at any time to Phoenix Stage Company, phoenix-stage-company.square.site. And that link is also on the bottom of your screen and right there on the screen. I didn't even realize it
That's it.
changed. It's magic.
Well, that's the Michael's on top of it.
Michael, thank you so much for everything that you do, Michael.
Yep.
Thank you, Al, for being here.
Anyways,
Thank you.
Okay.
And Sharon Houk for all of her work on our slides. Thank
Right.
you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Say good night, Tim.
good night, Tim.
Thank you for watching, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.